Welcome back to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Glad as always to have my friend on, Brendan Neef. He is with Victory Trucks, Victory Transportation, and I love what you guys do over there. By the way, the website, victorytrucks.com. And Brendan, as always, good to see you, buddy.
Good morning. Thanks for having me again.
Glad to have you on. Talk a little bit about the, the company itself. Kind of give us a panoramic overview. I'd like for the listener to become really familiar with the business itself, so they can, I think, through this conversation, kind of gather why we're having you as a regular part of our program.
Well, what we are is a hotshot company, and so to a lot of people, what that means is that people that need stuff delivered around town or anywhere in the continental United States, they'd call a company like ours, and we'd pick it up and we'd take it straight to the destination. We won't stop. We won't dilly-dally around. We'll get it there as fast as we can.
It's entirely about them and not a bunch of packages.
Correct. It's just one shot, one load, get it there as fast as you can within the legal limits of the DOT laws. And that's where we are different from a lot of carriers who may put a bunch of freight on the truck and have a time frame to get it there and drop along the way. People that call us need it to the drop point right away.
Yeah.
And usually people that are calling us is because their customers, our customers need it. Something's broke down. They need to finish a job, but they don't have the right part. So it just depends on the different variances, but we pick it up and we load and go.
See, and I always thought hotshot meant you were show-offs.
Yeah.
Although you do try to show off a little bit by getting there on time, right?
Yes.
Always. So, talk, and again, a real perception that people have about hotshot is that hotshot is only small items. What is the range of items that you have? I know your biggest business is big items, but kind of give us a range of what you do.
So the range we do is anything that can be hauled on a pallet, a 4x4 pallet, or up to a full-size tractor trailer load, and that could be on a flatbed or a dry van. We have both those capabilities, and we do regular runs for customers, both dry van and flatbed on a daily basis. So, and then we do some oversized loads. Somebody may have something that's 16-foot wide, 12-foot tall, so that's a little bit more challenging. You got to get quotes from the permit companies. You got to route out a path. You may need some pole trucks to lift the red lights or things that are in the way, or high lines or wires. So
you really got to map it out in advance.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? Logistically, how do you do that? Because, not all your destinations are local. You're all over the place.
You'll go through.
You'll literally map them out. Will you have people do contingency advance work, or how does that look?
When you get into those types of loads, you go through the DOT office, and they route you out the best possible way that's feasible. That has maybe the less challenges as far as things that might limit the oversized load or the overheight load, depending on time of day or the width and height of the load. You may have a police escort, so you've got to really plan, and then you've got to really wait and see what time frames and what path you're going to take, and then you have to get once you get the route done, then it's getting escorts in and whatever else is going to be needed to move the load.
So DOT, they know exactly what these roads look like, what the limitations are. This bridge is this tall, that type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and so you have to create your route accordingly.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's pretty interesting. So talk a little bit about the geographical range of where you reach. I know you've told me some stuff about West Texas and North Texas, but kind of give me the total scope of where you guys can go.
Well, we've hauled stuff in a pickup truck as far as Washington, the state of Washington, Minnesota, Williston, North Dakota. But on a normal day's range, we're anywhere from about 1,000 miles or less. So on average, we'll run something anywhere from Houston to 1,000 miles less around the surrounding states.
Right.
So we're in Oklahoma a lot.
We're such show-offs, aren't we? Because that only covers the adjoining states because we're so ridiculously huge. But whereas in the East Coast, that's like 5 states, 1,000 miles. Any one of the states, 1,000 miles would be 5 or 6 states.
Yeah, and we go up the Northeast a lot. We've got one customer, a driller, that does a lot of water drilling and water wells that's got a big job going on up in New Jersey. So we've been going back and forth to New Jersey on a regular basis on some tractor loads. And then usually daily we're in Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and New Mexico, usually weekly at least, if not daily, hitting those states as well.
How big is your team?
Well, we have about 130 drivers that are all owner-operators that drive anything from a pickup truck to a tractor-trailer, and then internally we have 36 employees.
Mm-hmm. And they're all contract?
All the drivers were an independent
yeah.
contractor model. We don't own any company trucks.
Yeah, and that makes sense. You just make sure they meet your expectations.
We do. Safety is a big part of our culture and our company, and the higher the standards for us helps us better with the shippers and being able to better serve our customers, and may get us in the door where one of our competitors may not be able to get in the door due to their safety scores not being where they need to be. So safety is a big focus of our organization.
Is it pretty easy for a potential client of yours to access what your safety scores are?
Correct. Anytime you're doing any commercial carrier, their scores are going to be through the DOT, Department of Transportation, and the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Association. So any shipper or any potential shipper that wants to utilize any commercial carrier or carrier for hire, they can find out their safety scores.
And you recommend them to do that?
Oh yeah, but they're more and more going to it with us not even recommending
they intuitively know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've got, besides the fact they want whatever they got to get there, they got their own liability responsibilities. Correct. And they want to make sure that their public is not hurt because of anything they're having transported. And with that, I think it's interesting in terms of the range of what you transport. It includes areas that are somewhat risky, higher risk items as well. Talk about the range of what you'll deliver.
Well, right now our forte is anything that's related to the industrial business, a supply business that are catering to the industrial businesses, a lot of petrochemical, a lot of electrical distributors. However, just over the last 90 days, we became a certified hazmat carrier. So now we're evolving into hauling hazmat material, which could be anything from paint to Freon. So we have a couple of customers that are air conditioner companies, but they have a lot of Freon they move, but that's considered a hazmat. So for our normal stage of business, we couldn't haul that if we weren't a hazmat carrier.
Yeah. So, and you got that credential when?
About 90 days ago.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so, for a potential, customer of yours, what better time than someone who recently got it because they are completely up to date on it. 90 days, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and so we feel it's going to be a big push and a big way for us to help grow our business going into 2016.
Tell us a little bit about what made you go into this particular industry and what excites you about this.
To be honest with you, I wasn't planning on going into this business. Through a mutual friend of mine, I met a guy that was in the courier business, and at the time I was a personal trainer, and the gentleman that I met said you can make money in the courier business, and I was kind of dumb enough to believe him. So next thing you know, I got rid of my clients and passed them on to another trainer and went and got me an office right close to here off of Harwin and started a little courier company in 97. And since then it's evolved to where got into bigger freight and moving bigger items, and it's what led me where I am today.
A multi-million-dollar company.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's fantastic. You really do epitomize the American dream and really do capture the spirit of what makes this country great, which I'm glad we have the opportunity to share your story.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and it's fun learning more about the show and what I can do to help people listening.
Well, you're being a good part of it, and we appreciate it. Brendan Neef, he is, again, with Victory Transportation, and the website over there, again, is victorytrucks.com. Good to see you, buddy.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to the next show.
You bet. All right, when we come back, we're going to have more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. You're listening to The Price of Business.